Garden Sessions team are on the megabus. We're approaching Glasgow. Silver, describe the scene.
Well, I can see Glasgow now spread out before us like a beast full of folk.
Once a year it happens. The folk scene moves westward. It's Celtic Connections 2008. pile of rubble lies now where beautiful vases once stood here in the bothy. That was Fluke from their album Rubai and Pressed for Time. You're listening to the Garden Sessions, gardensessions.co.uk. Contact us at podcast@gardensessions.co.uk. We're available on radiobritfolk.co.uk. Well, it's actually the Music Well now, and 98.8 FM in the Edinburgh area, Leith FM, where Leith lives. I'm Jack Foster, and joining me this special Celtic Connections show are the Danger Mouse and Penfold of the folk scene. I'm talking, of course, of Frank Burkitt and Dave the Angles Gimble.
It's good to be here.
Happy Celtic Connections, folks.
It's been a good one. It's been a good couple of weeks. Having to go through to Glasgow every odd night.
Over yet as well.
No.
More to come.
No, it's an exciting couple of weeks. And what have you guys been seeing? Anything of late?
Well, I kicked it off with Fluke,
which we just heard.
Yes, and it, as always, they're stunned, and it was a fantastic night. I've also seen the Peatbog Fairies this weekend, which was another fantastic night. I've had my dancing shoes on, I tell you.
Dave, what's coming up on this special show?
All the usual features, as always, the folky news, the top 10, another angle.
Any hints?
Well, it has a slight military theme to
military
it.
Theme.
We've also got lots of special features from Celtic Connections 2008. We've got a report from Angus Grant, Sugar Nifty, who Silver spoke to. We've got Fantouche, who Jack spoke to. We've got Chris Stout, again, Silver, and Jack again with Gib Todd.
Of the
all
Danny Kyle
coming
Awards.
up. Yeah, it's full of stuff.
As well as, of course, all the best
if you've
songwriting.
Been on another planet, you can catch up here. Basically.
Indeed. Or if you've just not been in Glasgow.
Well, yeah.
Which is much in the same thing, in many ways. The City of Culture, 1990. We're going to fire into a report now, though. The first report of the show. This was where I met up with Fantouche after their performance at the Danny Kyle Open Stage. Well, it's the end of another evening of the Danny Kyle Awards, the open stage, and I'm joined by Borders band Fantouche. That was a great show tonight, guys.
I'm Pauline. And Jenny.
And I'm Graham.
Good to have you with us on the Garden Sessions. How do you find the Danny Kyle experience as far as getting new music out there and so on, and traditional music into the limelight?
It's a really good opportunity because there's not that many opportunities for new bands to get some exposure, so it's really good for that, and also to see what else is going on in music. So yeah, it's a really good opportunity. Yeah.
We played a couple of years ago, and just the fact that we live quite far away and we're busy playing and doing things, it makes it difficult. But it's absolutely fantastic. We've been very, very well looked after when we're here. And it's just been a fantastic experience, just with this expertise of everyone round about. It just is a fantastic sounding and produced show tonight. So,
and compared to previous years of Celtic Connections, have you found the standard to be?
There was a lot more variety in tonight's lineup than there was in the one we played last year. So I think it's a really high standard. It's excellent.
Oh, an absolutely excellent standard. It's funny, when we came in, the stage was set up in a different place from what it was last time, and we thought, hold on, quite disconcerting, but it's absolutely fantastic layout, and just the standard, even the youngsters that were playing as well tonight, just absolutely brilliant.
And is there anything you're looking forward to seeing that's yet in the Celtic Connections programme still to come?
We've got a friend from the Borders, Ross Milligan, who's playing tonight in the first half with the Emily Smith Band, which is followed by Chris Stout, so that should be a very good concert.
Well, thanks very much for joining us in the Garden Sessions. Fantouche, it was a great set tonight. Best of luck.
Thanks very much, guys.
That was Fantouche with Sarah's Jig, who Jack caught up with Celtic Connections last Sunday.
A lovely bunch, can I just say. Frank, it's time.
It's news. It's folk.
What is it, Frank?
It's the folky news.
Good jingle this
And
week.
the folky news brought to you this week, as ever, in association with Paddy Bort's Wee Folk Club.
Well, every Sunday night at the Oak, we've got the Wee Folk Club at 8:30, an intimate venue, 30 seats, acoustic. It's a great night out. We've got fantastic musicians and singers. Every Sunday night, do come along.
And this Sunday, the 3rd of February, in the Wee Folk Club, it's Haggardash. So get yourselves down there. The top story, of course, this week, Celtic Connections moves into its 3rd week. The Garden Sessions have, of course, been covering the festival this year and have many a report throughout the show from Glasgow. Jack spoke to Paddy Bort last week, however, and asked him what his top picks might be for folkies heading westward.
Well, I mean, if I had time and could go over on Thursday, I would certainly go to Steve Earle, because I think Washington Square Serenade is one of my favourite CDs of 2007. That is absolutely brilliant. There are quite a few. I mean, it's a tremendously varied and a diverse programme. There are quite a few things that I would love to see. Unfortunately, I'm pretty tied up with the university in January, and of course the Wee Folk Club and Edinburgh Folk Club. And we should not forget, the focus is on Glasgow, but we have gigs here, and wonderful gigs at both these folk clubs, and of course at Leeds Folk Club as well.
All year round, indeed, not just for 2 weeks in the year.
Indeed, all year round, but we don't stop just because Celtic Connections is on. So we hope that some people will divide their time between Celtic Connections and the sort of indigenous music that we produce here at in Edinburgh, the various folk clubs.
He turned that on its head,
Well, he's reminding us that you don't have to be in Glasgow to experience traditional music, taking nothing away from it, though, of course. If you are able to get through this coming week, there's still shows from Brian Finnegan and the Rooney family being the winners of last year's Danny Carl Award, Rod Patterson and Ross Kennedy, the Classic Albums concert with Andy Irvin and Paul Brady, Ali Bain and Phil Cunningham, June Tabor, Tim O'Brien, Cara Dillon, as well as the Danny Kyle Open Stage and Transatlantic Sessions concert. Marianne Kennedy presented this year's BBC Radio Scotland Young Traditional Musician of the Year final 2008 from the City Halls in Glasgow.
Prestige.
The 6 finalists: Amy Lord, Ali Robertson, Ewan Robertson, James Duncan Mackenzie, Robert Menzies and Stephen Blake performed on the night alongside a special performance from 2007 winner Katrina Watt. Ewan Robertson scooped the prize. Second story, well, Glasgow was cleaned out of candles this week as it was Dick Gocken's 60th birthday. Last night, Celtic Connection saw a special birthday concert. The legendary singer-songwriter was joined by an array of musical friends from down the decades. Dick, happy birthday from the Garden Sessions.
Happy birthday.
He's a jolly good fellow.
Exactly. And finally, just a quick note to say that Carolyn Anona Scott will be playing in Nicol Edwards in Edinburgh this Thursday, 10 till midnight, and though it's not confirmed as yet, she may be accompanied by local songstress Hayley Beavis. Keep up to date with all the latest folky news at gardensessions.co.uk/news. That's the folky news. Spank me with the jingle paddle. The official Garden Sessions download chart. The official Garden Sessions download chart. Awesome.
Yes.
This is the official Garden Sessions download chart based on free downloads.
Can we remind you, it's official.
It is indeed.
It's official and it's free download.
Starting now at 10, down to Carolyn Anona Scott with Endless Peace. At 9, up 1, Martin Bolan with Dreams in Blue. At 8, it's down 3 for Carolyn Anona Scott again with Far Ahead Going Home. And at 7, a non-mover for Andy Chung with The Wee Room.
Here he comes.
Underneath the stair, everybody's happy, everybody's there, and we're all making merry, each in his chair.
Where?
Down in the wee room, underneath the stair.
Love it.
Frank just can't help joining in with that one.
It's a joiny anyone.
Indeed it is. At 6, it's down 4 for the Paul McKenna Band with Take My Hand. At 5, down 1, Sophie Terscuro with Cruel Sister. At 4, it's up 5 for Rantum Scantum with Hush.
The song you're hearing right now.
Time to be sleeping. Dreams come a-creeping. Dreams, oh, peace of the freedom's a smile when you sleep on the day.
How many times must Frank hit microphone stands?
No, I was slow dancing with Dave.
With the mic stand,
leave him alone, let's get on with it. At 3, it's up 3 for Andy Chung again with The Penny Falls. At 2, it's up 1 for Alan Hunter, Long Grey Line.
Hunter.
Which means, once again, a non-mover, number 1, the official Garden Sessions download chart, number 1, Sinead Connolly with Eileen.
Go away.
they were famous, and if you loved her, who were there to blame us? Wasn't she the pride of Petrovore? Beauty made us all so shy, and not a man could look her in the eye. Boys, oh boys, sure that's the reason why we're in the morning for the pride of Petrovore. I know my heart is growing grey ever since the day you wandered far away. I know there's good for so they say, but there's none of them like the pride of Petrovore. Friday at the fair of Ballintober, Eileen met McGrath the cattle jobber. I'd like to set me mark upon the robber. He stole away the pride of Petrovore. Never seemed to see the girl at all, even when she ogled him from underneath her shawl. Well, looking big and masterful when she was looking small, was broken for the pride of Petrovore. Eileen, oh, my heart is going grey ever since that day you wandered far away. Eileen, oh, there's good for so they say, but there's none like the pride of Petrovore. So it went as 'twas in the beginning. Eileen, oh, was bent upon the winning. Big McGrath contentedly was grinning, being courted by the pride of Petrovore. Says he, I know a girl who could knock you in the fits. At this, Eileen, she nearly lost her wits. The upshot of the notion was that now the robber sits with his arm around the pride of Petrovore. Eileen, oh, my heart is going grey ever since the day you wandered far away. Eileen, oh, there's good for so they say, but there's none like the pride of Petrovore. Wise, oh wise, as fair as hard to grapple of my eyes. Eileen was the apple, now to see her walk into the chapel, the hardest pictured man in Petrovore. Wise, oh wise, is all I have to say. When you do your courting, make no display. If you want them to run after you, just walk the other way, for they're mostly like the pride of Petrovore. Eileen, oh, my heart is grown grey ever since that day you wandered far away. Eileen, oh, there's good for so they say, but there's none of them like the pride of Petrovore.
How many times must it be number one? But Sinead Connolly, second time in a row this year. Eileen, oh.
I actually do a very good impression of Sinead. Do you want to hear it?
No. And can I just say, Dave was very rude last week, and generally is very rude about Sinead Connolly, but it's some sort of in-joke he's got with Sinead. Apparently he slags her off or something, but he loves her really. Very nice about her. So if anyone just thinks there's a vendetta against Sinead Connolly,
there is.
Thank you, Dave. Dave, you went to see Shugle Nifty.
I did. I went to see them last Thursday. Unfortunately, I couldn't get any kind of a report from them on the Thursday because they were rushing off. But Silver stood in there for me and managed to get something with them just the other day.
Good stuff. Let's hear it now.
I'm joined now by Angus Grant of Shugle Nifty, who's playing at ABC on Wednesday. Angus, welcome to the Garden Sessions.
How you doing?
I'm not too bad. How's your Celtic Connections experience been so far?
Brief. We were through on Wednesday night playing at the ABC with Anna Massey Band and Dive. And
Anna Massey, what a guitarist she is.
Incredible musician, yeah. And Dive are a great band as well, one of my favourites on the scene at the moment. Just really great playing, energetic stuff and tasteful.
Is there anything that you would recommend to our listeners to see over the rest of the festival?
Well, I haven't really had a good look at the programme, to be perfectly honest, but Paul Brady and Andy Irvine doing their classic 76 album, I think, would be...
Are there any other classic albums that you'd like to see performed at Celtic Connections?
Ooh, unfortunately, some of the people are dead. I can't really think off the top of the head. Easy Club, first album, would be an obvious choice for me. Ossian, dove across the water.
Would you hope Sugar Nifty sooner or later will be up there in the classic album slot?
Yeah, I don't think we would do it, to be perfectly honest. I mean, it's a funny thing, but there's loads of tunes that you used to play that have just dropped by the wayside and sort of served their time well, but I don't think we would be persuaded to do it, to be perfectly honest. I mean, the likes of Brady and Irvin, I mean, that is an absolute classic, and for a chance to get people to hear that, I mean, I totally understand the reason for doing that. I mean, I was talking to Dick Gaughan about him doing Handful of Earth, and he was a bit funny about it as well, you know, singing some songs that he hadn't sung for, 10, 20 years almost, so, I totally understand it's what people want to hear, but I don't think it's something Sugar Nifty would do.
Well, hopefully I'll see you at the Andy Irvin and Paul Brady gig if we get tickets. Thank you very much, Angus.
Yeah, great to see you. Cheers, man.
Cheers. Thank you.
Chris Silver there, his first ever Garden Sessions interview with Angus Grunt there from Sugar Nifty.
Angus Grant.
Angus Grant.
Not
Angus Grant. But I would like to point out that neither Silver nor Angus Grant seemed to realise that it was actually Thursday, not Wednesday, that they played. It's the hectic nature of Celtic Connection.
Well, regardless, you're listening to the Garden Sessions, gardensessions.co.uk. Contact us at podcast@gardensessions.co.uk.
Please do.
Still coming up on the show, we've got Dave's angle. Hints, Dave?
Yeah, give us another hint. We know it's got a military theme.
It's got a military theme. I'll give you two. There's a hint of wedding bells, and it's performed by a legend of the folk scene, and apparently, I've recently learned, one of Tom's favourite artists.
Wow.
Interesting. I wonder what
could
that
it be?
could be. But we've got reports from Celtic Connection, still a few of them to come, along with the letters bag, which is causing some controversy this week.
Yes, that's coming up next, in fact. The next report, though, is Chris Silver again.
Oh,
he was just knocking them out at Celtic
throwing him in at the deep end.
Indeed, but he did a fantastic job. I think the acoustics are a little bit better on this one.
Yeah, wasn't the ramshackle sort of Vespa just zooming off in the background.
This is after the Chris Stout concert at
Heavily
Celtic
researched
Connections
podcast,
and Silver met up with him afterwards.
I'm joined now by Chris Stout, fresh from excellent performance at Glasgow's Royal Concert Hall. Chris Stout, welcome to the Garden Session.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
How's your Celtic Connections experience been so far, Chris?
It's been, well, obviously it's been a great experience. It is every year, to be surrounded by so many great musicians from different cultures and different countries and all that is very inspirational, and that's what the kind of thing we seek throughout the year is to keep inspired and keep your own music fresh, and to see other people working at the top of their game in such a sort of a confined environment over a relatively small period of time is great, and it's a really brilliant start to the calendar, so yeah, having a great time.
And in terms of the Chris Stout Quintet, I mean, I just haven't watched the show. How does it feel to be sort of playing to people that are sitting down and listening to you, rather than standing up and dancing, as what's seemed to be the norm with instrumental music, I suppose?
It is. The folk tradition is a dance tradition, so it's natural to assume that a lot of the music we play has come from a dance tradition. So yeah, the music would have been danced to. But we're not doing formal dancing to it anymore, and yeah, a lot of bands will play to informal dancing, just people jumping about and having a great time, and that's fantastic. Our sort of music is, yeah, it's lively, but we do enjoy playing in the sort of concert environment, and with that you get an extra, I suppose, an intensity and focus on different elements of the music, and we maybe don't worry about keeping the beat going for dancing all the time, but we can focus on other elements of the music, purity of sound and subtle things that might not be so obvious when you've got 100 people dancing to you. So this controlled environment, people are still making a noise and they're still tapping their feet and they're having a really good time, but do
you feel that you get an equal response out of them when they're sitting and listening as to when they're dancing?
I think if people were dancing, they'd probably shout more because they're hyped up. But essentially, people are sitting down in quite a dry environment, and the floor here is carpeted, and it's a dry environment, so it takes a lot of effort for people to make noise in an environment like this. But when they do, it's really meaningful, and it's a direct response to what they're seeing. So this is the kind of environment I prefer to play for this group.
That was Chris Silver interviewing Chris Stout, and the set of tunes you heard in that report was 3 reels.
Good stuff.
Another vase down, I think.
How many must we lose? How many do we have in the first place?
Why do you keep buying them?
I was going to say, we should stop going to Sotheby's.
You're listening to the Garden Session. Still to come of our Celtic Connections features, though, was the interview when I met up with Gib Todd of the Danny Kyle Open stage at Celtic Connections, and he wasn't giving anything away.
Of the Festival Club as well.
Indeed, and he wasn't giving anything away with regards to his judging of the Danny Kyle Awards, which will irk you, Frank, because I believe that you were one of the entrants this year.
I was, yes. First night, in fact, me and my little band played. It was very, very good, actually. It's about 300 people there. It was a fantastic night. Really good. Really good. I'm not hoping for anything at all. I was just happy to be part of it.
Who can say what's going to happen? That's the thing. Also, still to come, we've got Dave's angle. We've got the hints. It's got a military theme performed by a legend of the folk scene.
Who could it be? Who could it be?
Who can say, Frank? Who can say?
No.
Oh God! Oh Jesus Christ!
Garden Sessions Letters Well,
I think it's apt.
It's just that frightening this week.
That cursing you heard there is a direct result of the content of the brutal content of the letters bag this week.
Yes, it's been raging on the feedback forum this last couple of weeks, so we're going to race our way through it. I'm going to start. This one is from Acoustic Lady Lad in Edinburgh. Due to the recent progress report on Tom's Folk Odyssey, I would like to remind Tom that I know for a fact Andy Irvine is playing in Christchurch on the 24th of February. Not sure where, but you will know, won't you, Tom? Just thought this info would help the progress of the Odyssey reports.
Damn right. Well done, Acoustic Lady Lad. The second letter here, the font of folky knowledge, apparently. He lives in Edinburgh, of course. I was chatting to a man with a guitar down at a crossroads the other day. He was telling me there's a really good folk festival in a place called Canterbury in New Zealand around about Easter. Then he vanished.
This is all comment on the lack of stuff that's come in on Tom's Folk Odyssey.
Directed at you, Tom, I think.
Highly intelligent scientist in a lab suggests that she doesn't think Tom should be allowed back into the country without first providing evidence of at least one folky adventure in New Zealand.
One would do.
Too much rolling around in hay barns, not enough hard work for the cause.
Getting this into your head, Tom.
A damning indictment. Well, Tom finally put his tuppence worth in. In answer to the young elfin knight, no, I did not know that Andy Irvine was playing in Christchurch. More to the point, apart from being the fullback that helped Scotland to the 1984 Grand Slam, I don't even know who Andy Irvine is. Shame.
What?
Shame.
Please elaborate before you expect me to seek out someone I've never heard of. Remember, I'm out of the loop here regards to the team and Happy Burns Day. Well, Happy Burns Day, Tom, but come on.
I think he's a changed man since he's gone to the Southern Hemisphere. It's disgusting.
It's embarrassing.
But it's all right, because Sophie from the Netherlands has said, above all other things, it appears that Tom hasn't been listening to the podcast. I believe Paddy Bort is telling us regarding the classic album concerts during Celtic Connections how obviously the Paul Brady and Andy Irvine one last year was a real classic.
Although it's this year.
Yes. Whereas that remains to be seen. For example, the album of Maeve McKinnon. Blah, blah, blah.
Let's not go there again.
No. Andy Irvine sang and played bouzouki in Planksty, Tom. And that's all I know. Hope it's
simple.
Hope it's of any help. Well, it's of great help. Happy Burns Day. I'll drink a whiskey to you. I'm sure you will, Sophie.
Happy Burns Day.
Happy Burns Day.
There you go. All that is folk everywhere was the next person to stick his 2 pence in. And he says, Tom, don't know who Andy Irvine is? An almost acceptable statement for, say, a Metallica fan, but a presenter of the Garden Sessions. Quick look on Google could have saved you a lot of embarrassment. Don't know who Andy Irvine is. Don't know who Andy Irvine is. Don't know. Ah, dear, oh dear.
It's like what the papers say.
It was like a dramatic reading there from Dave. I liked it a lot.
Well, the Garden Sessions gave its official statement on all of this. It felt it needed to. The Garden Sessions would like to distance itself from Tom Harland's statement in which he claimed not to know who Andy Irvine was. Clearly this does not reflect the overall folky knowledge within the bothy. Of course, we are all sure that Tom was pulling the leg of the folk scene in general, and we'll hopefully get a statement from him on the next show. We all recognise the great contribution that Andy Irvine has made to the scene from the folk revival continuing through to the present day. Well, or so you would think that Tom was pulling everyone's leg, but Frank...
Yeah, his response to that, unfortunately, very quickly was, nope, still don't know who Andy Irvine is. Is he the dude who presented this much maligned BBC thing?
Oh, he's mixing him up with Phil Cunningham.
I'm hoping
Tom.
This is just his covert way of winding us up.
Yeah, I really hope he's going to come back in a week's time and say, it was all a big joke.
It must be.
Anyway, Carla in Edinburgh.
Finally.
Carla in Edinburgh is saying, Tom, I disagree with your views on Pike Street. They're one of the finest bands to have graced the folk scene and have produced some seminal albums. That said, it's all a matter of taste. For example, I'm not a huge fan of John Martin, but I know who he is.
That's why I'm bringing him into this.
Throw him into the equation.
She's not a huge fan, but she knows who he is and accept that the contribution he's made. Happy Burns Night to all.
Happy
Loving
Burns
the shows
night.
as usual. Looking forward to hearing Tom on the podcast.
Well, I think everyone's made some very valid points.
I'm looking forward to hearing Tom justify himself on the podcast.
Tom, they were all directed at you.
Every single one of them, except the ones that you wrote, which really were shocking.
Directed at you in a really roundabout and embarrassing kind of way.
They made me gasp.
Yeah.
So they did.
Frank doesn't gasp off.
Oh dear. Right, that's the letters bag. If you want to contribute to the letters bag and the shows to come, podcast at gardensessions.co.uk.
Go on the website, stick something on the forum.
The feedback forum. How do you get to the feedback forum, Dave?
You click on the little mega phony thingy.
Good. Dave, I'm interested to know what your angle is after all of that.
I know.
Well, as I said, it's possibly one of Tom's favourite artists.
Who could it be?
It is, in fact, Paul Brady and, you guessed it, Andy Irvine.
Yeah, good choice, Dave.
With Mary and the Soldier.
Come all you lads of high renown that would hear of a fair young maiden, and she rode out of a summer's day for to view the soldiers parading. They marched so bold and they looked so gay, the colours flying and the bands did play, and it caused young Mary for to say, I'll wed you, my gallant soldier. She viewed the soldiers on parade, and as they stood at their leisure, and Mary to herself did say, at last I found my treasure. But oh, how cruel my parents must be to banish my darling so far from thee. Well, I'll leave them all and I'll go with thee, my bold undaunted soldier. Oh, Mary dear, your parents loved, I pray don't be unruly, for when you're in a foreign land, believe me you'll rue it surely. Perhaps in battle I might fall from a shot from an angry cannonball, and you so far from your daddy's hall, be advised by a gallant soldier. And I have 50 guineas in bright gold, likewise a heart that's bolder, and I'll leave them all and I'll go with you, me bold undaunted soldier. So don't say no, but let me go, and I will face the daring foe, and we'll march together to and fro, and I'll wed you, my gallant soldier. Saw her loyalty, and Mary so true-hearted, he said, me darling, married we'll be, and nothing but death will part us, and when we're in a foreign land, I'll guard you, darling, with my right hand, in hopes that God might stand a friend to Mary and her gallant soldier.
The self-titled album, Andy Irvine and Paul Brady, featuring at the Classic Albums Concert, Celtic Connections, Wednesday the 30th of January, tomorrow. Tom, that's who Andy Irvine is.
Maybe that'll jog your memory.
Despicable. Absolutely despicable. Dave, what is your angle?
Well, it starts off with a girl. More surprisingly than not. And she's gone out on a summer's day, and she's gone to watch the soldiers out on parade, and the soldiers are parading before they head off to war. And she says, oh, look, they're so lovely looking in their nice colours, and they're all, looking smart and at attention. And she thinks to herself,
who wouldn't admire it?
I've got to marry me one of these soldiers. They just look so
Any of them.
damn sexy.
She's
Anyone
going
of
to pick one.
Yeah, so
That's
she's-
racy
she's-
language, Dave.
She's well, there you go. It is a family show. She's watching them parade up and down, and she's watching for a while, and then she spots the one that takes her fancy, and she goes, "That's him. That's the one I'm going to marry." And so
Does she just walk in as they're marching, doing their
Well,
drills?
she starts pursuing
You'll
it,
do.
you know, and
I
she then
do.
says, "Well, hold on a second. This is harsh because he's about to be banished off to war. I might never see him again."
Well, that's what you get for trying and picking out a soldier.
You know what?
He's gonna go to war.
You know what?
There
I'll
is a
go
chance.
with him.
No, that's just
I'll
silly.
go with him.
They have the uniforms to fit.
And you know, I'll be there, and you know, we'll
woman
be
soldier.
together.
A woman soldier.
Well, there you go.
Surely not.
Not on this show.
Woman soldier.
Stop it. And
Apologies to all women, by
The
the
soldier says, "Well, hold on a second now."
Yeah, we were
You know,
being ironic. though,
It may
obviously.
be harsh, but
Clearly.
you don't necessarily want to come with me. You know, you're gonna be far away. It's gonna be dangerous. You know, I might get killed.
So he's saying, "Don't come because it's not worth it." You know.
No, he's saying
come 'cause you're not
I might
allowed.
get killed. You might get killed. You
Yeah,
know,
it's gonna turn
and
out bad.
You'll be miles away from home, and your parents won't be able to help you about. And you know, just come on, just stay with your folks.
Does she get a lot of
and
help
wait
from
it
her
out.
parents?
Dave, where are you? Which verse are you in?
I'm at the end of verse 3.
Keep up,
right,
Jeff.
I see where you are.
Come
Okay.
on.
She says, "Well, hold on a minute. I've got some money on me, and you know, I really love you."
How much
and
money?
50 guineas.
Right.
It's quite a lot of
That
money.
is.
It'll go a long way.
Buy you a
Yep.
few chomps.
You know, and I really love you, and I want to be there with you. I want to go through this toil with you.
Yeah.
So you know, don't tell me to stay behind. I want to
Oh, I
face
see.
the danger, and we'll
Is-
march together. So
is
she's
that-
actually going to dress up
has
as
she
a soldier.
been?
and march
Has
with
she
him.
been infected with the poison of true love? That's the question.
I wouldn't necessarily go so far as to call it a poison.
So
but
is she
well,
going to pose as a
gonna
soldier?
lead her
she's
to her
going to be
death.
a sort of modern day Mulan.
Is this like in sort of ancient times where she's pretending to be a man?
No, this is she's
this-
pretending to be a man, but it's not ancient
It's quite
times.
Shakespearean.
Almost.
I mean, he's talking about cannonballs.
It doesn't go
and
into that though, does it? It
gunshots,
doesn't go into actually saying she will actually pass herself off as a man. But
No,
one would have
but-
to assume.
No, but there's a little bit of blurb that I've got with the song from Andy Irvine and Paul Brady talking about it, and they're talking about how they wrote it akin to all the old songs about women dressing up to go into battle with
Oh,
their
okay.
men and stuff like
Okay.
that. And then the soldier sees her
Background.
loyalty, sees that, you know, she really does love him, and she says, "You know what? Let's get married. Let's do it. You can come with me, and only death will tear us apart."
Military wedding. She'll
But,
have 5
you know-
guys in a row shooting guns in the
It's
air.
not very responsible of the soldier, though, to allow
Well,
her to come
maybe
and
not,
put
but
herself
she
in the line
really
of fire.
loves him, and he
which
really
is not
loves
a trained
her.
soldier.
And he says, "You know what? We'll fight together. I'll guard you. I'll look after you.
He's
You'll
gonna
be
use
right
her
next
as a
to me
human
all the
shield."
time." And if it's meant to
Easy
be,
for
if it's true love, then God will see us through. We'll be together in the end.
Can I just point out one woman amongst all these soldiers? And that's all I'm going to say. But you know, it's interesting.
okay.
That's all you're going to say, yeah?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
not going to go any
That's probably
further.
the
than that.
best way to leave that one, Frank.
Quit while you're winning. That's what I say.
Or while you're
Losing.
just
So,
quit.
Yeah.
Basically, what we all want to know is: does she get mauled by bullets?
It doesn't say. Ends on a happy note.
Good,
saying, you know,
glad.
What
God will
happens?
keep them together. But basically, they go off to war together, and they look after each other. And the song doesn't tell us what happened.
Oh, maybe there'll be a sequel.
Let's moralise this angle.
Moralise
The moral
this
of this
angle.
one is basically that if it's the purest of true love, then only death can, you know, tear two people apart.
What? No,
Not even war, no matter how big the
Um,
adversity, it can be
If
overcome.
you're truly in love, go and get shot. I think is what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
then you can overlook lack of training and clearly...
I think Dave's got a point though.
I was
Dave,
trying to be nice about this.
well, sum it up again very quickly.
If no matter how big the
Quickly.
adversity, if it's true love, then you can overcome it.
That your angle?
Yes.
Well, we're almost at that point where we're going to get to hear the interview with Gib Todd of Danny Kyle and the
Festival
Club at Celtic Connections. Because it's Celtic Connections time, it's an exciting time for the folk scene, even if
it
it's a bit
is.
disorientating because they're all in Glasgow for the few weeks.
Enough of this jiving at Glasgow.
Yeah, we'll have less of your Glasgow bashing.
Glasgow is a lovely, lovely place. A
It is.
delightful place.
It is indeed. Can we hear this report, Jack?
I suppose we could, yeah, we could. Where's the jingle? It's here. I'm joined by Gib Todd, who has taken a break from his judging schedule for this year's Danny Kyle Awards, the open stage that's been running throughout Celtic Connections. Thanks for joining us on the Garden Sessions.
You're very welcome.
How have you been finding it this year thus far? I mean, the standard of the music, is it living up to the name?
Yeah, it is, and it's mostly the young that are shining, and that's not in any way a detrimental sideswipe at anybody else. It just is a fact of life that there's more an emphasis on learning and training and tuition than this, let's say, 30 years ago or 40 years ago. And I suppose the fact that we have people like Brian McNeill in the RSAMD, also our educational outreach programme where kids are made aware, young people are made aware of what traditional instruments belong to the country, and they become enthused and want to learn to play them.
I mean, there's massive swathes of new musicians and traditional music that's coming out at the moment, and as you say, particularly from younger artists. Do you think that we're seeing a new folk revival happening at the moment, or an ongoing one even?
Yeah, there is more now, but I don't think it's in any way a revival. I don't think Scotland ever had a revival. I think it was ongoing, and the wave grew stronger as it did in Ireland. There was a revival in England, and maybe that's a partisan point of view, but I lived in England at the time when the so-called 60s revival took place, and it was a special time. But I have to say, the tradition was always alive and well in both Ireland and in Scotland.
Do you find that there's quite a heavy weight on your shoulders when you're judging the Danny Kyle stuff? Because I mean, it seems to have been in previous years that it's a massive springboard for artists who win. Always seem to go on to do great things, and a lot of the artists who are now doing really well in the scene have started off by winning the Danny Kyle Award.
Well, I don't see it particularly a heavy weight in my shoulders, because the load of making the final decisions is spread. We have input from the artistic director, whoever he may be, at any given time, and we also have input from the friends of Celtic Connections and from people in the audience, and we generally try to get somebody from the industry, albeit whether he be a booker or a festival organizer. We like to get a musician and possibly a friend from the Friends Association of the festival, or indeed an honorary member of the public. So all of that information is collated every day, and at the end of it, it's all gone through. And one of the things that I find, well, maybe I shouldn't find it surprising, but there's generally a consensus on every day. All the marks are usually very close for the same people. So it's a very worthwhile exercise as far as I can see.
There's a cast, of course, of Danny Kyle which presides over all of the performances. For those people who are listening, and I'm sure there must be some who don't know who Danny Kyle is, why is he such an important name on the scene?
He was important because he cared passionately about keeping everything alive and giving everybody a chance, whether they be classically trained or just somebody that learned 3 chords on a banjo and a guitar, and he wanted to give everybody a platform. And that's why the important word in the whole title of this event is open, because it's open to everybody. It's not a folk, it's not purely a folk thing, although obviously the emphasis is on traditional and folk music, but the key word is open. And Danny was open-minded about everything, and he wanted everybody to have a chance. And I think he would have been staggered at what's happened to because really the whole thing was, for years all over the world, the Monday nights, if you had an establishment where you sold drink, well, Monday nights was always the open mic night. I worked in New York in the 70s, and Monday nights was always open mic night. But what he did, he took it a step further, and he gave it a value more than just people trying to draw a crowd into their empty pub on a Monday night. It became a focus for, and it's, as you say, as you've just said, it's the people that have gone on springboarded to international success.
Well, thanks very much for joining us on the Garden Sessions, Gib Todd. I'll let you get back to your judging, and obviously what you're thinking at the moment will be top secret, but we're looking forward to hearing the results as they come out. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Top secret, and Frank is awaiting to hear what it's going to be
really
as an entrant in the Danny Kyle Awards.
I'm not expecting a single jot. It was just good to do it, as I've said before.
He's so humble, Dave, don't you think? He's very humble.
He also hasn't mentioned at all that he's playing tomorrow night. In fact, the Edinburgh Folk Club
indeed
has a supporting
for the Mick West group at the Edinburgh Folk Club on Wednesday night.
Should be a cracker.
So if you want to see the Mick West group, or if you just want to throw things at Frank, tomorrow night in the Pleasance, the Edinburgh Folk Club.
That's where it'll be. Yes, well, anyway, that was the Gib Todd report from Celtic Connections, and that almost brings us to an end of this Celtic Connections special, but there's more stuff to come over the next couple of weeks.
There's another week of Celtic Connections
left. We'll be heading westward again, and soaking up the folk.
And the rain.
But you know what's happening? Easy. Glasgow's a lovely place, city of culture, 1990.
It rains in Edinburgh too.
What's happening on the next show? Who's going to be joining us, most likely? Although you never like to make promises.
You never like to make promises, but it is Tom.
Lock up your daughters.
If you can actually remember where the bothy is, he'll be back, hopefully, doing a one-off.
And we can
special.
ask him in person why he's so lax.
Really, embarrassed.
Rambling. His rambling has gone off the chart. So
hopefully we'll be looking forward to seeing Tom next week. We'll have all the normal stuff as
and
well.
Maybe he'll bring New Zealand reports.
Top 10. And all
will
that kind of
Sinead
thing.
Connolly stay at number one?
Will she indeed? Will I get to do my impression?
I don't want to hear it.
Just leave it.
Gloss
Frank,
over
you
it.
told us earlier in the Folky News, but there was some stuff still to come over the...
There certainly was some stuff still to come. There's lots still to come. In fact, I believe...
Any highlights?
Tim O'Brien's still to come. I know that for a fact. And as well as that, we've got Brian Finnegan and the Rooney family, of course.
Living last year's, was it Danny Carr? It's a cracking lineup for the week.
Podcast. And it's over.
Well, almost.
Not quite.
Still got about... What, 7 minutes to go, something like that?
There's another tune for you.
Indeed, we're going to play out on the show with Tim O'Brien, Brother Wind, and Tim O'Brien is going to be appearing at Celtic Connections.
Notes.
He certainly is. Jack's just rifling through his paperwork here. Where's the date? We can't find it anywhere.
Do we
Tim
have time?
O'Brien is appointment with the Ducks. That will be 7:30 on Thursday, the 31st of January at the ABC venue. Seamless.
So important.
Just
it's
rolled
a
off
date
the
and time
tongue.
to memorise.
Seamless. Anyway, till next time, when we may even be joined by Tom Harland on his fleeting visit back to Edinburgh. From myself, Jack Foster, Frank Burkitt, Dave Dangles, Gimble, this has been the Garden Sessions. Take it easy.
See you later.
Cheerio.
Made up my mind to go someplace so far away. I headed west without a sad goodbye, no hugs or tears that way. It's probably for the best. I sent cards along the way, said I was looking for a brand new life, but I never settled down. My wanderlust would always cut the ties like a knife. Sometimes the lonesome wind, it calls out like it knows me. And on a night like this, when I don't know where to go, it shows me the way. 'Cause he knows me. My brother Wayne, he's lonely too, and he takes me away. Ahead. I was so afraid that I'd be caught behind. I followed a crooked stream to places I have never been, and one more highway sign. And I'm like some other guys, I might count the hours till the day would end. not so I can rest. For me, it's a time that's best for talking to my friend. 'Cause he knows me. My brother well, he's lonely too, and he takes me away. My life is gone, and the only home I ever had is this open road. My skin's all cracked and brown, it's a mirror to that desert ground and the dusty wind that always seemed to blow. And I never made a mark, I just scattered footsteps on these shifting sands. And whatever pushes me, it's something only he could